Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Rabbi srahli sadri wa yassirli amri, wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Respected elders and beloved brothers and sisters in Indonesian Muslim community in Kagari, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In the Futuhal al-Mecca, or the liberation of Mecca, Prophet Muhammad SAW, after what had happened between the Muslim and the Quraysh for 20 years, and the Quraysh were begging for his mercy, Rasulullah SAW said, there is no blame on you today. La tasriba alaikumul yawm. These are exactly the words used by Prophet Yusuf salam when he revealed his identity to his brothers after what had happened between them. In fact, Rasulullah SAW mentioned that he would say something that his brother, Prophet Yusuf salam, said. Yeah. So inshallah, we will cover this ayah in this lesson, inshallah. Yeah. So you can imagine, this is the unconditional forgiveness in parts of Rasulullah SAW in the case of Fatah al-Makkah, or in the case of Yusuf salam when he revealed his identity after all had happened between him and his brothers. The second thing that I would like to cover today in terms of the point is related to humbleness, yeah, and also attributing goods to Allah, attributing goodness to Allah, right? In part of Prophet Yusuf salam. So imagine, in this case, Prophet Yusuf salam was a high minister, yeah, in a high position. He's a chief minister in Egypt, yeah, so very high rank position, right? Compared with his brothers, who was asking to trade some goods, yeah, because it was drought season. And in fact, this is the third time they came back to Egypt, and they said that they brought not really good quality merchandise to trade with the grain from Egypt. But, some of us maybe in this kind of situation would say that, look, this is because of I work hard, because of what I have done, and so on and so forth, that I reached this position. But Prophet Yusuf salam didn't say that. He said that this is because of Allah. Allah favored him. Right? So he's very humble, yeah, and attributing goodness to Allah, not to himself. Right? And this is a good example for every prophet. Prophet Ibrahim, we also know that he always attribute goodness to Allah, and of course the opposite of it, attributing bad to himself, like Prophet Adam. His dua when he made mistake, Rabbana zolamna anfusana, right? Oh our Lord, we have wronged ourselves. We have wronged ourselves. We know that everything is from Allah, right? But they attribute bad thing to themselves. So this is the adab between that all the Prophet alaihimussalam taught us to attribute goodness to Allah, and associating bad deeds to ourselves. All right. Let's, as usual, let's recite these verses together, inshallah. Okay, so inshallah today we will cover verses number 88 until 92. Yeah, there is no blame on you today, inshallah. Okay. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Falamma dakhalu alaihi qalu ya ayyuhal azizu massana wa ahlana ad-durru wa ji'na وَجِئْنَا بِبِضَاعَةٍ مُزْجَاةٍ فَأَوْفِ لَنَا الْكَيْلَ وَتَصَدَّقْ عَلَيْنَا إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَجْزِي الْمُتَصَدِّقِينَ قَالُوا هَلْ عَلِمْتُمْ مَا فَعَلْتُمْ بِيُوسُفَ وَأَخِيهِ إِذْ أَنْتُمْ جَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا أَإِنَّكَ لَأَنْتَ يُوسُفُ قَالَ أَنَا يُوسُفُ وَهَذَا أَخِي قَدْ مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْنَا إِنَّهُ مَنْ يَتَّقِ وَيَصْبِرْ وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ subhanallah فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ قَالُوا تَاللَّهِ لقد آثرك الله علينا وإن كنا لخاطئين قال لا تثريب عليكم اليوم يغفر الله لكم وهو أرحم الراحمين Sadaqallahul Azim. So inshallah, for the purpose of our discussion today, we will use this translation from Dr. Muhammad Mustafa Khattab, the Clear Quran, inshallah. Okay, so the first ayah that we will discuss today, inshallah, yeah, in this case, the brothers of Joseph, yeah, to Prophet Joseph alayhi salam, they came back. As I said before, this was the third time, right? The first, second, and this is the third time they came back to Egypt, right? They said, or they pleaded here, "O chief minister," again, Yusuf is now in the high rank position in Egypt, right? "O chief minister, we and our family have been touched with hardship, and we have brought only few worthless coins." Yeah, or some commentator, Mufassirun, translated as merchandise, yeah, merchandises. But please give us our supplies in full and be charitable to us. As if Yusuf needs this message. Indeed, Allah rewards the charitable, right? So here, you can see that this is a sample of a good example from psychological perspective of someone when they beg. Yeah, first, they humble themselves by exalting the person that they talk to, oh, chief minister, right? And then they bring family into picture. We and our family, everybody. When someone said his family, they get soft, right? We and our family have been touched. If we say we, Yusuf can see them, they are all strong guy. Maybe not that, pity, but we and our family back home have been touched by hardship. So it's psychologically very compelling, right? We have brought only a few worthless merchandise or worthless coins. So what we have now, according to some Mufassirun, the merchandise were kind of like, some leathers, yeah. But anyway, this is worthless coin. It's not the point of the moral of the story, rather. But please give us our supplies in full. So despite this bad or second-class quality, please give us in full. Yeah, 1 camel load of grain. Give us the supplies in full and be charitable, meaning that you can give us some more. You can be generous with us. And then, as if Yusuf alayhi salam need this reminder, indeed Allah rewards the charitable. Yeah. Now, the next ayah, this is the moment where Yusuf alayhi salam, probably or not probably, I should say that was guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reveal himself, reveal his identity. This is the time, right? But look at how he revealed his identity. Qala hal alimtum. Do you know ma fa'altum, what you have done bi Yusuf, to Yusuf? and his brothers, and his brother rather. It's antum when you jahilun, ignorance, right? So he's very humble. He doesn't want to, do it like in the rude manner, like you did that, you did and you did this to me before. You threw me into the well, blah blah blah. He didn't want to say that, yeah. But he used the very soft, like a question form. Hal alimtum, do you know or do you remember? Yeah, ma fa'altum bi Yusuf. Now here the brothers were surprised. Throwing Yusuf into the bottom of the well was their secret. Only them, only they and Yusuf know this secret, right? So they know that, oh, is he Yusuf, right? Because Yusuf said, Yusuf wa ahi, in this case Benjamin. So there are some of us students interpreted that at that time, after some time between the second on in this third trip to Egypt, Benjamin, the brother of Yusuf, was given a position, high position as well in Egypt, right? And he dressed like Egyptian, right? No longer like a Palestinian, the Canaan, the Bani Israel. Yeah. So they didn't even recognize Benjamin, let alone Yusuf, right? And so here, fa'altum bi Yusuf wa akhi, right? Of course, here in the context of in context of Benjamin, when we know that the brothers were still harboring ill to Benjamin, as we know in the previous verses that we discussed, right? But here again, the humbleness of Yusuf, he gave a way out, right? It's antum jahilun, when you were ignorant. So here you can see there's one part about now, and there is another part about, or the other part about the past, right? Do you know? And ignorance, is a contradicting word, right? Contradicting words. Know and ignorance are contradicting, right? But here, do you know? So he recognized that these brothers of his, Joseph alayhi salam, have changed, right? Do you know the reality of the bad deeds that you did before, throwing Yusuf into the bottom of the well when they were jahilun? So he gave a way out. Okay, you were jahil at that time, you were ignorant, right? So humble the way Yusuf mentioned this and criticized his brother in a humble manner, right? And then the brother said, in shock, are you really Yusuf? Are you really Joseph? Alayhi salam. And we cannot translate this into English just like Arabic, right? The Arabic, there is a very, very element of surprise here. So here the translator just say in shock, because the Arabic is so delicate here. Innaka la anta Yusuf. It's like a, emphasize and emphasize and emphasize. Yeah. Qala ana Yusuf. Yes, I am Yusuf. And this is my brother Benjamin. Yeah, in this case, right? As I mentioned to you earlier, he revealed Ibrahim, Benjamin as well. Yeah. Again, here what I mentioned earlier, they were in a rank, they were high rank position, high rank minister, high rank position in Egypt, right? But they didn't attribute this to their hard work, right? Instead, they attribute it to Allah. Qad, yeah, indeed, Manallahu alayna. Allah has truly been gracious to us. So they're very humble. Despite their high position now and their brother in the lower position, they didn't attribute it to themselves. Yeah, they attribute this blessing to Allah. Yeah, we hear this from many prophets. Yeah, many stories rather of the prophets in the Quran, and also the story of Zulkarnain in the Surah Al-Kahf, right? Innahu, Allah in this case, truly him, mayyataki wa yasbir, whoever has taqwa, and this is the key, right, to get the favor to Allah, the learning that we can get from this verse. Yataki wa yasbir, who is taqwa and patient, fa inna Allah, truly Allah, la yudi'u ajral muhsinin, and truly Allah never never discounts the reward of the good doers. Right? May Allah give us taufik to be among people who are taqwa and patient. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Next verse, inshallah. Qalu tallah. This is like they admitted by Allah. Yeah, here. Allah has truly preferred you over us. So they resign. In this case, they admitted, right? Again, if you see Allah, change the behavior of the brothers of Yusuf, right? From the beginning of the surah, when they throw Yusuf into the bottom of the well, harboring ill to Benjamin, it now change. So here we can see people change. So don't judge people. People change. Yeah, they threw Yusuf to the bottom of the well. It could kill him, right? It could kill him. It could kill Yusuf in the bottom of the well. There could be snakes or whatever, right? Yeah, and there may not be a caravan who would brought him up, bring him up the well, right? So it could kill Yusuf. So their behavior was so bad at that time, but people change. So that's why there is a wisdom of Allah, step by step, not revealing Yusuf at the first instant, but step by step until the right time for Yusuf alaihissalam to reveal his identity. Right at that time, the brother is ready to accept this, and they admitted their sins. Right? Qala tawahi laqad asarakallahu alaina aksaru alaina wa in kunna la khati'in, and we have truly been sinful. Okay, the last ayah, inshallah, and as we said earlier, despite all that had happened between them, between Yusuf and his brothers, right? And by the way, Yusuf and his brother, according to Muwasirun, were that referred to in the Quran as the asbat, the brothers. Yeah, so they are they have high position in the eyes of Allah. Yeah, due to their righteousness. Yeah, so here Yusuf said there is no blame on you today, right? Despite all what had happened, Yusuf alaihissalam said there is no blame on you today. Exactly the words used by Prophet Muhammad SAW when he came back to Mecca, yeah, in the conquer of Mecca, in the liberation of Mecca, Futuhal Makkah. Qala la tatriba alaikumul yawm. There is no blame on you today. Unconditional forgiveness in part of Prophet Yusuf alaihissalam. Don't even remember of what you have done to me. There is no blame on you today. I was about to say I here because I realized that I was wrong, because he wouldn't say I. Prophet Yusuf alaihissalam. Yeah, he attributed to Allah. May Allah forgive you. So not only did he, not put blame on his brothers, he also prayed for forgiveness of his brothers. Right? May Allah forgive you. And he said, he is the most merciful of the merciful. Right? So he attributed to Allah. He asked Allah forgiveness for his brother, and then he elevated the position of Allah and exalted the position of Allah and humble himself when he's making this dua for his brother. So there are so many things that we can learn from these verses. It's very beautiful stories of Prophet Yusuf alaihissalam in the Quran. So many learning, and may Allah give us tawfiq to learn this learning from the chapter of the chapter of Yusuf alaihissalam. May Allah bless us. Astaghfiruh wa qulu qouli hadza innahu wa ghafurur rahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.